That is the SMSL A200. And it's one of the most reasonably powered amplifiers ever. And it'll work in your living room because it has HDMI ARC. So you can plug your TV into it via HDMI. And then your remote control for your TV will control the volume on the amplifier, and you can get real speakers for you. Please stop buying fucking sound bars. All right, did I say that loud enough? And was the F word way late enough so I didn't get... Okay, fine. So, this. Where are you? You are 269. 5 stars for 2 ratings. I think they're both in German. So... what we have on the desk here is an Amazon exclusive in that I'm going to link to everything on Amazon. So I don't remember who sent me the A200. I'll find out, but it wasn't Amazon. Who's selling it? SMSL store. So $269 and then $179 for the Mica RB42s, which I've sucked them off for years. And then, I'm even using the Mica 14-inch gauge speaker cable for $26. So we're just going to, So this is a reasonably powered amplifier. I think it is, I went there to look and then I didn't look. How many wattaroos? It is only, wow, this is too long. Multiple inputs, potentiometers, blah, 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 blah. There. 4 ohms, even though it says 42 ohms. 4 ohms is 70 watts. 8 ohms is 42 watts. I think these are 6 ohms. So split the difference. They're like 55 watts into these. And it gives distortion at 0.013, which doesn't say where that is, what the at maximum, at 1 watt, it doesn't specify. Power consumption total is 36 watts, because Class D, and then signal to noise, input separation, blah, blah, blah. None of this fucking matters. Let's play with the gauges. These are all very good, quiet tracks. Actually, Echo, turn off Little Narberth. Oh, there we go. Now we're going to start selling amplifiers. So they're lit in like a cool green light. Like, I don't know how the camera's picking it up. I have a very specific color correction I do for this area. And so I'll describe the color as like banana that's just a little bit before it's ripe. That's the lighting here. It's quite nice. I almost wish that the display could shut off. I haven't figured out if it can, because if it just wasn't saying the volume there, it would be great. However, we do need Echo. Turn on speaker reviews.
Speaker lights isn't responding. Please check its network connection and power supply.
She's Australian, by the way, in this area. Echo, turn on speaker testing. There we go. So we've got backlit VU meters. I wouldn't give a living shit about a low power SMSL amplifier. It's 2025. There's so many options, but actual decent VUs. A little springy, but they don't actually come to a stop. They bounce down and they bounce up, but they look good. And the fact that if we go to the back of this, we have the HDMI ARC, because currently I'm using optical cable. You can analog line into this. So if for some reason you want to use passive speakers on your desk, say, I don't know, RB42s or Swan Oasis 140s, you can buy those speakers, buy those other speakers, get some cables, plug them in. And then if you have a DAC, because you're doing things with DACs, you want to use your other DAC that you're already using for your headphone amplifiers, then you can put the RCAs into this. Or you can just get an optical splitter, split to both things. So you get optical input, coaxial input, analog RCA input. There's a Bluetooth antenna that I don't have attached, USB-C for USB to plug directly into your computer, and then HDMI ARC to come out of your television, out of the audio return channel. That's what ARC stands for. So that you can use the remote control from your original setup. You don't have to add another fucking remote that you're going to lose. And then you can put this in your living room. And that's where I think a lot of people are going to look at it. Although the VU meters are very tiny, you're going to enjoy the fact that they're sitting there. You got a full-size IEC into there. There's a hard power switch there. And 5-way binding posts, which actually have a really cool looking, they're nice. They're just nicely built. The box is not one of those hard aluminum ones. It is a steel case, but it's a nicely put together steel case. We've got some matching fins down the side. The front is aluminum. You've got the VU meters, which avoid one of the biggest problems I have when I'm yelling at companies about VU meters, is the VU meters, even on K stuff, are so far back into the unit that when you look at them from like an angle, they're gone. And this, as you can see, is actually pretty flush. Even here, I can see the VU meters. So, golf claps to SMSL for not fucking that up. The only thing that gets weird is they were going for the 4-hole system, just like your mom, where you have a VU meter hole, and then they cut off this hole with the top to put SMSL there, and it's like, okay, and then the last hole is filled with a knob that controls the thing if you want to be on a desk. So it almost, it would have been almost. I think also the gapping is different here. God, I was so close to being perfect. So you got a weird shape here, and it doesn't actually there's plastic on this, which I never took off because why would I? That's on the floor now. The cat's going to eat it. You got a display that is kind of small for its space, and it doesn't ever go away. If the numbers were a little bit bigger, I'd feel a little happier. But if you put this in a living room, on your television, and you get some decent speakers, or some really decent speakers, you can read 50. That's important, that your remote control, and you could see, and it takes a second, but it goes fast. Like it's like a 3/4 of a second lag from the time you hit the button before anything happens, and it starts to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, leaning it into good for a living room, fuck sound bars, please setup. If you're using it on your desk, obviously you're going to use the knob. The knob is instantaneous and super fast. And actually, the encoder in this is fucking wildly good. You push the button, you get to choose optical. It does 1, 2, 3. So you push the button and then you get to rotate from line in to coaxial to optical to arc to goes Bluetooth, USB, arc, optical, coaxial, line in. That's a lot of inputs. So we're on optical. We're going to leave it there. You also, if you push the thing, come on, you get, all right, so there's E 0 through 5. From the best I could tell, because I didn't want to look it up, because I'm like, I can figure this out. E, it's got to be E. E goes 0 to 5, and I'm pretty sure it adds an echo to the sound. Let me see if I can get something. I don't know. I don't know what E does. It's like effect. Then you have bass plus and minus 9. So you can bass boost the living shit out of RB42s, which it's also very quiet. And then treble. So treble we'll leave alone. We're going to bass boost plus 9. So now, the fact that it only says it's doing 70 into 4 ohms and 42 into 8 ohms means it's not trying to be one of those amplifiers like 800 watts. And then you have to worry about it's going to get hot or it's going to be. They're selling this as an efficient, half a watt on standby, 35 watt maximum when you're nailing it. Leave it on all the time, sitting under your television. It's perfect. And these speakers, for those of you who don't remember when I came onto the channel 7 years ago, which this channel's 13 years old. So the fact that, actually, wait, we just passed May. That might be 14 years old now. Anyway, these are half the age of this fucking channel, and they've been one of the best speakers you could ever buy since then. And they're hard to fucking drive, because the smaller you make the driver, the more power you got to give it to make the same volume. So the fact that I can sit here and comfortably listen to Oh Yeah from Ferris Bueller's Day Off from Yellow at 75 out of 99 is pretty impressive. If you have more efficient speakers, if I hooked up clips or those JBLs, this would be screaming. Oh. All right. That's all I'm going to play of 16 tons until I jump ahead. Now keep in mind I have the bass plus 9. That's another thing. I'm playing it loudly with a 9 plus bass boost. I don't think it's decibels, but it's a 9 plus. And they're not like throwing the drivers out and sounding distorted. So that's actually a gentle bass boost. That's unheard of. Usually bass boost is like 1, 2 are usable, and then anything from 3 to 9 is just muffled garbage. It's like, bleh. So this,
I picked up my shovel and
it's tonally adjusting. It's changing the tone, and not just bass boost for stupid. If you want to do that through the thing, you press enter, you press the center, and then you press right, and you press right, and so now we can go bass down. So you could actually add a gentle bass boost to speakers that may need it, or a gentle treble boost, or whatever the fuck E does. I honestly, I'm trying to figure out what E does. And I know what E is at like a club situation, but I don't know what E is here. But it's doing E things, and it's 0 to 5. So unless it's a filter setting, it might be a fucking filter setting. Is it a filter setting? I bet you it's a filter setting. I bet you it's like slow appetizing. Now I'm hungry. So anyway, back out of that. Back out of it. Your input, the remote, I think this is the remote. I literally grabbed one off the table and it worked. So I'm like, well, this has to be the remote for it. So it's the RC8A. Volume up and down, mute function, which brings you to Bluetooth and puts you in Bluetooth pairing mode. And it doesn't take you out of it. It just brings you there. So if you want to leave, you got to go back and you got to hit the fucking input to rotate around. Up and down, do absolutely nothing. Left and right, do absolutely nothing when you're just sitting in the main thing. And then power shuts it off, lights go off, it sleeps now. Turn it on, it says hi, and then it brings it back to the same volume, which is nice. So let's lower that a bit. Let's skip off a Crystal Method defective. Oh, speaking of being defective, there is one issue, is that it's been a long time since I've done this on this channel, and I used to be able to link these, but they don't have them on Amazon for good anymore. I'm going to put a little waifu sticker on it. I realized I need to go back to 2018. 2018 was a good time. Let's just go back completely and waifu sticker up the things we love to make them more interesting to look at. So she's going to sit there. I think we've completed it now. Now it's balanced. You see the light color and then, oh, perfect. So put that in my pants. At this price, which is $269, I don't think you're going to, I think it does fucking great. The HDMI ARC alone should be $100 option. So this would be on its own $169 one. And oh, but I want to hook up to my TV. Boom. The VU meters add quality. The nice remote control. The fact that you could do bass and treble, and it's a polite bass and treble. Polite bass and treble is like Gishelli Labs. I've been yelling at them for a while. It's like just the knobs are just like brrr, like just less, do less is nice. I love how these 4.8 with 779 ratings. You can't hate Mica RB42. You can't. 4.8 on the fucking wire too, with 1,400 ratings because the wires are great. What's the rating on this? 5 stars. 2 ratings. I think they're German. Hold on. Yes. Die Wirkpacken uns gut destabel. Nacht dem off. I've been to Munich 3 times now, so I could absolutely speak German. Or I hit the translate button. Eye-catching ARC mode. Sound comes through the amplifier. When turn off the amplifier, sound comes through the television speaker. Indescribably good at 2x 42 ohms. That's another thing. I'm trying to get it to break up. Putting it to a bass boost of 9 and then running it on a very inefficient fucking speaker. And only being 42 watts, it should get distorty bad. And I've been sitting here playing with it, and it doesn't. So now I have other SMSL amplifiers getting ready for review. I've got a bunch of topping amplifiers getting ready for review. I've got the GON amplifiers from SMSL ready for review. And I'm like, let's get this one out of the way because it's definitely the fucking prettiest. It's the one I think most people are going to be like, interested in. Because you know what we all want deep down inside? Fucking VU meters, bro. Gotta help remember to reverse the audio on this so it's all perfect. So is this worth $269? Hell yes. It's got its own built-in DAC. It's got its own wireless. It's got its own ARC. It's got a remote control. It's got very clean output. Super duper clean output. And it's designed for sitting in either a living room or on a desk. You do your thing, you hit your button, and you get your optical, you get your effect, which is, it's got to be a filter setting. You tweak your bass, you tweak your treble, and you fucking sit there. I wish the numbers looked a little nicer, or it could be dimmed. That's like the only pet peeve I have, is that I'd like this to be I mean, you could technically cover it. I'm sure the remote control is working through the window at the bottom. But look how clean this setup is. All in with the speaker wires and the amp and the speakers is under $500. And also I'm using the power cable that comes with the Valencia Colab amplifier, which is the it's the Monoprice hospital cable. I have a bunch of those. So yeah, SMSL, congratulations. You've done fucking well. This channel was founded on cheap SMSL amplifiers. I'm talking about sub $120. This is back in the day, back in the 2015, 2016 day. And they were just metal boxes with a knob and a click button. Look how far we've come. It's not even a complicated amplifier, but it's got the built-in DAC. It's got the remote. It looks clean and sexy, minus the little, I wish they would have just completed the circle and put the thing in there. It would just, please. Yes. I think the A200 is probably going to be as soon as German people stop reviewing it and English speakers can do it, this will be one of the best-selling SMSL products. Because it does what it says it does. And that's all it needs to do. All right, pause that, and let's go into here. And we'll go into the bass boost, and we'll give it +9. And I wonder if it's, you know what? That's why it's not distorting. It sounds a little bit quieter. You're taking and you're changing the EQ curve, and it's lowering everything down to match and play nice. Let's put it back up then. This is an impressive little fucking unit. And of course, nothing. Yeah, it's actually you're changing the skew. So let's go back in there. Put the E to 0. Put the B to B2 and T2. There you go. We're 2-2. That's the Vite 8-minute edit from Deadmau5. No Beatles. That sounds bad, but that's dirty honkers. Literally just being dirty honkers. So. Oh, God, that's so loud. All right. I'm done. Short review. Clean, concise, pretty unit. Great features. Does a remote. Not going to break the bank too bad. Get it with any set of speakers once it runs these, good. It'll run, self-powered. That's self-powered. That's not. You get some Buchart passives. You got some JBL passives. You get those Fosse speakers they dropped down to $400. You don't necessarily have to get a Fosse amp, considering none of the Fosse amps have a remote, because they're all separate DAC amp combos. Not combos, they're separate things. So this would solve that. And I'm sure Fosse wouldn't give a shit what you're powering it with as long as you're buying their speakers. So I'm done, you're done, we're done. Thank you for stopping by Z Reviews. Links to these things in the description. Patreon and Subscribestar actually keep this channel going. It's been 13 or 14 years, and you guys have been a part of it for the 10 or 11. And that has been my main source of income now. So if you want to see reviews early, participate in yard sales, get to lossless sound demos, which I do for speakers and headphones, that is $7 a month. Could feed a family of 5 in Guatemala for 4 days, or I don't know how that's a bad analogy. I honestly feed the Guatemalan family before me. But if you've already fed your Guatemalan family, please, by all means. For $7 a month, you get to do all those things. And for $15 a month, you get into the behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat where you get to ask me questions directly, and I answer them all goddamn day. And I love doing it. And you're in the chat with other people who have supported me. And once you're in that chat, you're in the Lifetime Swap Meet channel, which is a swap meet to buy, sell, and trade gear. So if you have that and that and that, and you have access to the forums, as always, the Hi-Fi Guides forums, there's links in the description. You can click them or don't click them. But, wallpapers are in the wallpaper hoard. I think that's just a screenshot, but it's in my wallpapers folder. What a great show. I need the next season. Give me the next season. Chop, chop. Let's do it. I'm done, you're done, we're done. Thank you all for stopping by. And thank you, SMSL, for making something that's actually nice. What a sad song to leave it on.